Karen Dahlman.
And it's Marla Martinson. We're just answering some questions from the Facebook group, and we've got a great one today, and it is it possible and is it even a good idea to contact dead relatives on the board?
I love that question. I wasn't expecting that one, but I like it because it makes you really think about honoring and respecting the dead. Because I think a lot of people in their traditions, whether it's religious or societal or cultural, they've been taught not to ever try to communicate with the deceased loved ones. And I think, if that's part of your tradition, then, honor that if that makes you feel good. My experience has been that you can, but listen here, this is the trick. They may not always answer. They may not always come through. They may choose not to for many reasons we may not be aware of. One reason could be that they were already moving forward in their life. They still love you, but they know that if they talk to you and hang out here, they're going to hold you back. Another reason could be that they're ready to move on to the next evolutionary stage and learn something new. Maybe they are communicating to you. Let's just hold that thought. Maybe they are already communicating with you, and they don't need to come through a board, but they come to you like through maybe a dream, maybe it's a sign, a symbol, a song you hear. Maybe it's through something that somebody speaks to you and you hear that warmth that maybe it was your mom that died and you're reminded of her in that moment. That is them, you guys, coming through. And so I don't always say mix the board with that unless you feel called to do so. Now, I've had some loved ones who've come through, and I've tried to reach out to some who couldn't come through. And I didn't take that as, oh, they don't work or this they don't want to talk to me. I took it as we're all in our own place of free will, and we're all always evolving. The other little secret here about this whole idea of the deceased is that they want to tell you, they've told me many times, that they're very much alive. They're just not in this physical embodiment that we call our human form. They're not in this form anymore, but they're right there with us. It's just that maybe we can't feel them like we used to, but they're always, always going to be there. And just if you can be open to that awareness and say, I'm open if you want to communicate with me, and just watch how they'll start coming to you. They'll come to you in, like I said, different ways that you may not expect. What's your take on that, Marla?
Yeah, I have spoken to my dad on the board and some other relatives, and sometimes you wonder, is it really them? I don't know. I've asked, like, what shirt am I wearing, or what color shirt do I have on? I've tested. I've also said, what childhood memory do you have? I asked my brother that, and he brought up a couple of childhood memories that I'd kind of forgotten about. So I've connected with my dad, with my brother, with my friend's dad. Which you know about him, I think, yes. With Linda Selvin. So I've done it, and nothing. I think it's great. If you can, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and I hope it's really my dad and my brother. I believe it is, but we never really know. I mean, another spirit could come through and say it is them. I don't know. You kind of have to trust your gut, and you can ask some pertinent questions. But it's always been beautiful messages and very supportive and loving, and it makes me feel like they're there with me and helping me. And then different mediums and psychics have always confirmed that. They'd say, oh, your dad's always around you, or they've said some of the same things that the board has said. So it kind of confirms it for me. Sometimes I have a skeptical side too, because we want to affirm things. So sometimes I'll have different, talk to maybe a channel or a psychic and medium and see, and my own experience and kind of compare, because that's always fun.
It is fun, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Marla, when you said it's how you feel. A lot of this, using this tool, the Ouija board, and communicating to loved ones or spirit beings or guides, it's really about how they leave you feeling, and that's what you got to look at it. And it's all about getting in the heart and seeing how that resonates with you, and how it leaves you feeling. If it doesn't leave you feeling good, then don't trust any kind of message you got. But if it leaves you in a place where you're feeling uplifted, that's the barometer. That's how you know that you're getting something good. And for Marla, she's more aware that it was her family members and leaning more towards that side because of how they left her feeling. Yeah. I had this happened to me recently. A friend of mine from college died from some complications in an emergency room a few years ago. And he's actually in one of my books. He did a little write-up in the book. He likes the Ouija board, but he never really used it, but he liked to be around it. After he died, his mother reached out to me. And she said, I really would like to be in touch with so-and-so. And I said, I'll give it a try, but I think he's probably already around you. She goes, I just don't know. I just don't feel him. So I have different ways that I communicate with spirit, and of course one of my ways is the Ouija board. We're talking about that today, but I'll give you some suggestions of other ways you can do it too. But so I got on the board, and I asked for this gentleman to come through, who was a friend of mine, and he immediately came through with the help of one of my guides who helps out, is Mary Angel. Mary Angel brought him forth, and he said, "This is kind of strange, you know me." He called me by my last name. That was what he called me in college. He said, "Dolman, this is kind of strange." And I knew that was him, because he called me that. Most people don't know that about me. And he said, "But I wanted to let you know that I am fine, and please tell my mother." And he had this whole message for her, and it was really emotional. I knew how it felt. It felt real. It felt like him, the types of words he used, how he said things, just the feeling of it. So I told his mother, I sent her an email, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just needed that, lifted a weight off my body." And one of the messages he said to her was, "I'm with you always, Mother. I'm not really good at this on the other side, but I'm with you, and know that I'm there in your heart. You'll find me." And it's an emotional thing. And so she and I have been in touch over these last couple of years, and she has confirmed that she knows he's there. She can feel him more often. Again, you got to go back to your feeling center, your heart, because that's where this is going to resonate. So let's say you do want to be able to be more aware of your loved ones who have passed on, and you're wanting some kind of closure, or you just want contact, you just want that last, hello, goodbye, or something. You want communication. One easy way to do it is to do it by taking a piece of paper out, writing a question down that you would want to ask this person, and then sit back and relax and imagine what they would say to you. And just let it come to you in your mind, and as it comes, write it down. Don't question, don't judge it, don't worry about if, the paragraph is correct, or you said the structure's good, or you misspelled something, or etc. Just really allow it to flow through you. And then ask a few questions, and then, step aside. Come back to it, look at it, read it, and see what kind of feeling you have. The first time around, it might seem kind of silly that you're making this stuff up, but if you do it enough times, you'll start to bring that energy back into you. There's a thing what would I call it? It's a vibration when you pass through the other side. You're still in existence. You're just not in a corporeal body. You're still an energy, and so you have an ability to be in many places at one time. There is no sense of time-space continuum. Everything is non-local. Therefore, they could be off progressing in their evolution, or they could also be still with you, part of that energy being around you. Like Marla mentioned, her father's always with her. It's the same thing. Trust me, they are with you all the time, and you just need to be open to the way that they can communicate, which is not necessarily through a seance, a board, or a psychic. So just pay attention to the signs, and good luck with it.
Good luck, everybody. Happy boarding.
Namaste.